Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, a couple of things. First of all, if you've not seen the Q&A before, you're getting my raw, unfiltered opinion. I'm not reading these questions ahead of time. I'm not thinking of answers beforehand. If I think a question is kind of a meatier topic, I'll do a separate video on that at some point in the future. The other thing that you need to know is typically I film these on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Today's an anomaly. Today I'm filming it on a Thursday morning, but it's typically a Tuesday or a Wednesday. What I'm trying to say to you is if you want a guarantee to get your questions answered, make sure you get them in for a Monday or Tuesday at the absolute latest. But with that all being said, I've just literally scrolled up and there's a bunch of questions. So we're going to get straight into it with this week's Q&A. Okay, before we start, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I do this every week, but seriously, it's a lot of hard work putting Magic TV together, and I wouldn't do it if it wasn't for people that were watching the videos. So a big thank you to every single person that's watched any of the videos I've put up over the course of the last week. I really appreciate it. With that being said, the first question is from regular question asker Andy Putt, who says, "Hey Craig, didn't have any questions the last couple of weeks, but now I do." Awesome. So, question. You do a lot for the Magic community and for the kids in it. Is it an idea that you come up with a Magic kit, the starting fundamentals in Magic by Craig Petty, with things like a good Svengali deck, not the AliExpress type, but bicycle, hot rods, little steel cups like steel shot glasses for the cups and balls, etc. You know a lot of routines per prop when you look at your gigantic products with 8 hours of tutorial. I'm sure you could create a Magic kit where there's more hours of tutorial than bucks the set will cost. I'd like to see your thoughts on it. My thoughts are, I don't think it's a viable business proposition, and I think if I went to any sort of Magic retailer or Magic dealer or Magic producer and suggested that, I think they'd probably say no. There's a few different reasons for that, okay? So the first reason is that this sort of Magic kit is really, really good for when people are first getting into Magic, right? The kind of the Magic bug hits. We all remember when we were there, the Magic bug hits and you start buying absolutely everything. This sort of Magic kit is really useful for somebody first getting into Magic, right? But here's the thing, nobody knows who I am outside of the Magic community. In the Magic community, a lot of people know who I am, but nobody knows who I am outside of Magic. It's not like I'm a famous TV magician or anything like that. It's not like I can walk down the street and be mobbed. Hell, people know my 11-year-old kid more than they do me. So my name wouldn't sell a Magic kit. If somebody was first getting into Magic and they were wanting to potentially, buy a Magic kit that's going to help them learn the fundamentals of Magic, they're not gonna think, oh, let's get a Craig Petty set. And if they saw a Craig Petty set, they wouldn't think twice about getting that because they wouldn't even know who I am. And then the cost of putting a set like this together would be actually quite high. So you've got a high outlay and no real benefit over and above any other sets in order to offset that initial investment, if that kind of makes sense. The other thing is, you are right, I do a lot of projects with a lot of multi-hours of tutorial. And the reason I do that is because I'm really, I'm very passionate about wanting to give people everything. So when I bring out a trick, you've got all of my thought process. There's nothing I'm holding back. You have everything. The problem is, when you first get into Magic, you don't want that. You don't want 8 hours of tutorial, really. You want instant gratification. The things that people want when they first get into Magic is, hey, this is the cups and balls. This is how it works. Go out and do it. They don't want to have 15 different variations of the cups and balls. So the thing that you say is a big benefit of my projects, which I tend to agree with you, wouldn't necessarily be a benefit for a magician, right? For a beginner magician. So I don't think it'd work. Back in the day when I used to tour holiday parks, I spent like 3 or 4 years touring holiday parks, right? And we used to sell merch after the shows, and we did everything that we could to get onto TV. We were trying very hard to kind of be famous. Now I don't really care about that, but at the time that was something that I was trying really hard to do. We actually considered, myself and my ex-business partner considered actually having a Magic set made because we were selling tons of Magic every single night, and it would have probably made sense, but we didn't do it. So I definitely wouldn't do it now. So it's a nice idea. And if I had an unlimited budget, it's something I'd do just to say, look, I've got my own magic kit. But in reality, the cold hard reality of it is I don't think many people would buy it. Okay, second question from Andy Putt is, in the last few weeks, you've put out some really interesting videos. Thank you very much. One of them was working with Penguin Magic, and I really loved that. Most of us will never release a trick, but we're interested in that business part of magic. You asked us which company next. I think the two most logical ones are Alakazam and Murphy's. Maybe you can either have Peter or Lloyd in a little interview style video, add information to it. Well, yes, I'm actually going to Alakazam on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of September. So I'm back in the UK right now. I've just been to Hunstanton with Matt and Ryland because he had 2 shows over there. We're then going away for a few days to have a few days off, bit of a break. Then when I come back, I've got a gig with Ryland, a couple of gigs. Ryland's got 3 gigs, so I've got 1. And then I go to Kent. So I'm going to be in Kent at the beginning of September, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. It's likely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think I'm going to be in Alakazam. So I plan on doing the next of those videos on Alakazam. And by the way, if anybody is over at Alakazam and you're in that area while I'm there, come on over and say hi. But yeah, I really wanted to do these videos. You know, I get questions all the time about what it's like being a creator, which company should I work with. So I thought doing a video like that on a production company would help. And I've had a lot of strong feedback from the Penguin Magic one, which is great. So yeah, I'm going to do an Alakazam one next. It kind of makes sense. I did the Penguin one because it was fresh in my mind after going to Columbus. So I think I'll do the Alakazam one next. So look out for it. It'll be coming soon. Okay. One final question from Andy Putt, who says, what do you think of the top 5 best Magic products for 2024 so far? If you ask me in random order, they're Liam Lebanon, the Ishihara test, Steve Gore and Gregory Wilson, the Casino Con, Matthew Wright and Mark Bennett, Dead Man's Hand, Thomas Badar, Jupiter, and Craig Petty, the Magic Button. I think a lot of people overlook it because I don't see or hear a lot of people talking about it. I think Magic Button has been very popular. Well, it has. I've seen the sales figures. It's definitely been very popular. But yeah, look, so you want to know what mine are? What do I think? Those are your top 5. That's a great top 5. I have no idea. Oh my gosh, this might have to be a thing. I think, I don't know is the answer. There's so many good tricks that have come out. This is going to be very difficult I keep lists on this stuff. That's the thing. I do keep lists on this. I'm not too sure about the Ishihara test. I love the Ishihara test. I don't think that's there though. I tell you what, I'm not going to use any of my products for this as well. I'd say Rattle Dice. I know I haven't even done a review on it yet, but since I picked this up at Magic Live, damn, I have been doing this all of the time. Rattle Dice is amazing. I love Rattle Dice. So that would definitely be up there. Let me think. So Rattle Dice, Liquify has to be up there. See, I'm just trying to look up things. Liquify has to be up there because Liquify was absolutely, you know, I love it. I've been doing that an awful lot since reviewing it, and I know Ryland has as well. So Liquify, Rattle Dice. I'm missing out on a lot of the stuff that came out a few months ago. I know I am. I know I am, which is really frustrating because I just can't remember. And I need, you know what, I'm not going to do this now because I'm just going to blurt out 5 names of tricks and it's going to not be good. It's going to be terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video next week of the 5 best tricks that have come out this year in 2024 so far. Okay, I'm going to do that video because I'm going to be missing a load of stuff and I haven't got access to my spreadsheets here or anything. So leave that with me and I'm going to do a video next week about this. Well, maybe even try and do a 5x5 for tomorrow if I get time. Okay, so the next question is from 8 Hewitt, who says, hey Craig, love the content, thank you very much. I'd love to know when you're back at P3 for some shows. I'd love to see a live show. I'm not too sure. I'm speaking to Mandy and Sean about when I'm back over in Penguin and Columbus this week coming actually, but I think it's going to be November. We chatted while I was there and we were kind of leaning towards November. So I think it's going to be like end of November to the middle to the end of November. And while I'm over there, I am definitely doing a live performance, and it's going to be something very, very special. Don't want to say anything more about that, but obviously if you're in the Columbus area, you can actually come along 100%. So look out for that. That'll be sort of November time. Okay, so the next question is Stephen Banks Online Marketing, who says, "Hi Craig, I 100% agree with the viewer that suggested a video about the day-to-day running of an entertainment agency. I have a small agency and I keep begging to get into your gold level just so that I can learn how you do it. Heck, I'd even pay for a one-off call if you want. Look forward to getting your advice. There's a lot of stuff out there from others that just thumb suck, but you actually do what you preach." Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. And if you are into online marketing, a lot of what happens within my agency is run through Keep, through Infusionsoft. Keep and Infusionsoft. So I'm a certified Infusionsoft practitioner. So I can, I put a lot of stuff together. I connect a lot of things up, normally with Zapier, but sometimes it's different things. The most important thing with an agency is just making sure that the systems and the processes are in place. And if you get your marketing and your sales or automation correct, and your admin automation correct, you can literally replace 1 or 2 members of staff with just that there. And I'm sure with somebody that says online marketing at the back of their profile, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I am going to be doing that video, but I think I'm going to do it more as a day in a life thing. So I'm going to have me, people have been asking me to do this anyway, but kind of spending the day in the office and seeing what my typical day looks like. I think that'd be a kind of a fun thing to do. So we're going to do that. We're going to have that done as well. I'm going to be looking to do that in September. Also, in terms of the Netrix, we are going to be opening up more gold slots, probably October. So look out for that. We're going to be opening like 1 or 2 or 3. I know Sarah's going to be kind of leading that from the front when that actually happens, but we're getting close to potentially freeing up a little bit of my time to be able to do another couple of gold slots. So look out for that. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for the question. Okay, so the next question is Dr. Dre Michael, who says, "Hi Craig, really love your Apparition coin set. It looks so magical, great product, but I have one problem. There's a small sound when the special item hits the purse. In a normal environment with people talking or music playing, this is not a problem. Do you have any tips on performing Apparition in a quiet environment where everyone is focused on you or even one-on-one? It helps when I talk, but that's not enough, I think. Thanks and have a nice day." So you're talking about you've got a shell on the Chinese coin and you take the purse, you wave it over and you're getting a third of the magnet. Right, so there's 2 things on this. The first thing is you can eliminate that using practice. So you'll find that it doesn't make that noise sometimes, and other times it does. It is literally just a practice thing. So put the coin with the shell on it in your hand and just practice how you do it, and you'll get a feel for where you need to hold the purse and where you need to do the move in order to eliminate that sound. Now that's the first thing, and that's just a practice thing. And that will take time. However, if you want to eliminate that noise straight away, if you're in a quiet environment, there's 2 ways to do the change in Apparition. Now, the first way is to wave the purse over, and that obviously is going to suck the shell off the coin. And it's the sound of the shell flying through the air and hitting the purse that makes the noise, right? If you don't know where to kind of hold it, right? So the other way to do this, if you're in a really quiet environment, is change the way that the magical moment happens. And this is still just as good, and I have performed it like this many times. I'll talk about this on the tutorial. But instead of just waving the purse over and having it change, put the purse on top of the shell. Now, what you want to do is you want to have the coin here. You want to kind of put your thumb on it. So you're holding the purse here. Bring the purse down onto the coin, but put your thumb onto the coin. Put your thumb onto the shell because you're stopping the shell from sucking up onto the coin. So put your thumb onto the shell and then move the purse back onto it and show your hand empty. So you're just covering the coin up underneath the purse. From their point of view, you're putting the silver coin underneath the purse. And if you're doing it on the table, it'd be the same thing. You've got the shelled coin there. You put your finger of your other hand on top of the shell to stop it from moving and just put the purse on top, right? Now, when you lift the purse up, the shell is going to go with it and you're going to have the change. And then you can steal the shell off as you hand them the purse or you put the purse down on the table. or put the purse in their hand, or whatever the routine is that you're doing. The point is that will completely eliminate the noise, because the shell is no longer flying up onto the purse. You're putting the purse onto the shell. So when you lift up the purse, the shell automatically comes with it. And it changes the moment of magic, right? Rather than saying, if I wave this purse over, the coin changes. It's like, look, I'm going to isolate this coin underneath the purse so I can't touch it. I can't go anywhere near it. But if I snap my fingers, look, it changes again. Boom, have a look at that. So if you're in a quiet environment, you can do that anytime you want to do a routine with Apparition, and it will eliminate that noise 100%. But you can eliminate it anyway through practice, but that's a kind of a cheat. It's kind of like a hack that will allow you to do it straight away. Okay, so the next question is from Andy Lackey, who says, my Lux definitely deteriorated. This is in response to a question that I answered last week about are people having an issue with Lux. I kept it on my keychain as recommended in the tutorial. It quickly got scratched up. Then the button got stuck. Unfortunate, as I love the effects you can do with it, I'll probably eventually pick up a new one. That's really weird. Have you spoken to the Magic Shop? Have you spoken to Murphy's? Because they're normally really good about this sort of thing. Why don't you give them a call? I don't actually put Lux on my keychain at all. I have it in its own little special carrying bag. I have a couple of Luxes, but the one that I actually use at gigs, I have a special set of keys that I use when I make gigs, and it's got a few different routines on and so on and so forth, including Keymaster. When I want to do Lux, I take it and I put Lux on the keychain and I put it in my pocket. I treat it like a magic prop. So maybe, I don't know, but I have got more than one Lux. But I don't know. I would contact Murphy's. I really would, and say to them, hey, I followed the advice and this thing's a bit buggered. Can you help me? I'm sure they could. Okay, so the next question is from Bryzelfia, who says, hi, Craig. Hope you're doing well and you're having a fantastic week. I am having a fantastic week. Thank you so much. As a magician, I'm struggling a bit with how to handle applause. What do I do in that moment besides just standing there smiling awkwardly? It's a bit of a weird thing to do, isn't it? Because people don't randomly give people applause. You're not out and about and someone opens up the door for somebody and you go, oh, that's amazing, you opened up the door. It's kind of a weird thing, but you have to understand that you are a performer. You have to get that mindset into your head. You are a performer, you are performing, and it is the accepted way to show the appreciation of the performance from an audience point of view is to applaud. It's almost ingrained into us at a deeper level. You see something you like, you clap. It just happens all of the time. What you have to understand from the spectator's point of view, from the audience's point of view, they're not taking the piss. They genuinely are trying to show you that they enjoyed your performance, right? It's not like you'd see something and it was terrible and you'd go, oh yes, that was, yes, yeah, you just wouldn't get that. So it generally means that the audience have enjoyed what you've shown them. Now that can obviously make you feel awkward, but you have to, like I say, you have to get into that performer mindset. There's a couple of different ways that you can deal with it. And again, it very much is dependent on whether you're performing on stage or you're performing close-up or you're performing at tables or you're performing mix and mingle. The way to, deal with it on stage, very simply, is just wait, just pause, wait, smile, nod, do whatever you want to do, whatever mannerism you want to do, but take that applause. Don't cut it off, right? The audience is showing you appreciation for what you're doing. Don't cut it off. I see a lot of performers that will literally rush through and cut the applause dead. So they'll do something amazing and they'll be getting applause and they'll go, right, for my next trick. And people will be just like, oh, it's carrying on. You don't want to have that. You want to let that moment sink in. Be prepared to just do nothing, but just accept it, just accept that moment, just have the audience applaud. And when it starts dying down, then you transition into your next thing, right? Now, if it's in close-up, sometimes that can be an awkward thing to do. It can be very awkward if people are cheering and clapping. But if you look at some of my videos when I'm doing close-up, and especially some of the demos on some of my projects, you'll see that I kind of just smile. So if, the perfect one to look at is the Magic Button trailer. And if you've got Magic Button, have a look at the performances, because you'll see, excuse me, people are freaking out and they're running away and stuff like that. And I'm just laughing. I'm just letting them freak out. I'm letting them clap and I'm just laughing. I'm like, hey, thanks. No, I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. And that's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to be a, yes, I am God. You don't have to be like a Roman Reigns, acknowledge me. It doesn't have to be like that. It can just be a, hey, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Boom, 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 boom. And just be humble is a great thing to do it. The other way to deal with it, and this isn't my style, but the other way to deal with it is to almost like laugh it off. Kind of like they're clapping and like, oh my God, never thought of that, and get a round of applause. Or, hey, save it, I've got a weak finish, and those sort of lines. I've seen people use those successfully. And if that works for you, that's really cool. That's fine. That's all well and good. That's not the sort of thing that works for me. But it's totally up to you, at the end of the day. But it's something you're going to have to get used to as you perform more and as you become better at what you do. You're going to have to deal with applause, so you might as well get used to it now and just learn to accept it. Okay, so the next question again is from Bryselphia, who says, second question, what are your favorite cards to perform with and why? Do you use any marked cards? My favorite cards to perform with really are just riderbacks, bicycles. I've never been a big card collecty type guy. Ryland is, even though the kid doesn't do card tricks, he collects cards. So he's got the expensive part of the hobby without doing the cool bit. And he's got like all weird and wonderful cards, and that's all well and good. When I go to a gig, I'm mashing that deck of cards up. It's getting destroyed. It's getting completely and totally broken, and I am going to run it into an early grave. I typically throw a deck away every single time I do a performance. So because of that, I'm just going with riderbacks. Now, I do have stuff that I use marked cards for, Mem Deck work and stuff like that. And if I've got a deck that I'm going to be keeping in good condition, my two favorite decks of cards are the Phil Smith marked deck that he brought out after the DMCs, the Elysian Duets. So the Elysian Duets, they feel great, they look great, the marking system, the optical marking system is wonderful. So the Elysian Duets are probably the first. And the second set that I really, really love, as well as the Elysian Duets, is the 1914 Providence deck. I really love everything about that deck of cards. I love the box, I love the feel of the cards, I love everything about it. It's probably my favorite deck of cards to perform with. So I'd say the 1914 Providence deck, the Elysian Duets by Phil Smith, and then outside of that, just riderback cards. Okay, so the next question is from Mystery Man 000, who says, hi Craig, what are your thoughts on Penguin Magic's Rattle dice gimmick? I've noticed the quality of the die isn't that great. I've not seen a problem with the quality of the die at all. I've been using this. They sent it me actually because they wanted me to demo it on the booth, Magic Live, so they sent me one, and I've got to do a review on it at some point. And it was when I was at Magic Live that I was properly starting performing it. I love Rattle dice. I think it's one of the best tricks to come out this year. I really do. I've got a lot of work on it. I've got a lot of routines that aren't on the tutorial, and I actually filmed a lot of those routines when I was at Penguin recently. So when I was at Penguin, I filmed a new tutorial for the Rattle dice that I think at some point we'll be seeing. But the original tutorial with Greg Wilson is really, really good. And I know Eric Tate has some amazing work on the Rattle dice as well. I've been carrying these things in my pocket ever since Magic Live. In fact, I'm just about to go to a gig now. As soon as I finish this Q&A, I'm having a shower, I'm going to the gig, and I will be taking my Rattle dice with me, and they just live in my pocket. I've got another 2 sets. I love it so much. So yeah, I've not had a problem with the quality of the gimmick. I think the gimmick is great, and I think there's so much you can do with these. It's one of those things that I looked at and I was like, why have I not thought of that? How did it take until now for somebody to come up with that idea? It's such a genius idea. So yeah, Rattle dice is awesome. Okay, so Divishan Magician says, do you do the polo out the neck with the rubber cement? No, I did a couple of times back in the day. Haven't done it for a long time. It's a great bit. It's really good. It doesn't really fit my style, and I think that's the important thing about magic. You have to have it fit your style. And honestly, that doesn't fit my style. I think it'd fit your style though. Do you do it? Okay, so the next question is from Leo Spades, who says, hey Craig, can we get an update on Matt's Mem Deck journey? The update is there's no update. He hasn't put any effort into the Mem Deck at all. In all fairness, Matt is very busy, so he does an awful lot. You know, he works full-time in the office with me. He spent the last 2 months on tour with Ryan and Killian, basically running the whole show with Reese Morgan. He's busy, man. He's really, really busy. And I don't, you know, he's just not done anything with it. I've said to him, you can do it. You know, it's not the sort of thing that you need to spend any time on. You just need to think every single day. You need to go, right, 20, Jack of Hearts, 10, 2 of Spades. But he's not. I don't know if he's ever will. I think that Matt's more, you know, you get different people in Magic, and I think Matt's more along the lines of somebody who would rather just, you know, what's the word I'm trying to say? He's not really into learning new stuff, or no, that's not true, because he does learn new stuff. So I'm not saying that. I don't think he's into learning stuff that requires a lot of effort. He doesn't do much in the way of sleight of hand. You know, he hasn't ever learned something that requires much mental agility. You know, a lot of the stuff that he'll pick up and do is stuff that's self-working, and I think the reason for that is because his key skill is as a performer. He can take an average trick and turn it into an incredible trick just through scripting and choreography. And so his thought process is, why bother to learn something incredibly difficult where I can learn something easy and I can make it really, really good through scripting and through presentation and choreography and so on and so forth. But I'd like to see him learn the Mem Deck, but I don't think it's ever going to happen, unfortunately, which is a bit upsetting, because I thought it would really rock him. I thought that he would really get something out of that, but I don't think he will. Okay, so the next question is Magigaya, who says, when selling products after Electra at conventions in different countries, should the price of the tricks be the same everywhere, or should it change depending on where you are, because a country might be cheaper or more expensive than another one, and also the expenses change to get stuff to different countries? Yeah, not really a question I've thought of. So when it's selling products after Electra at conventions, should the price of the tricks be the same everywhere? You can do convention specials. I do think that the price needs to be, I think, right, okay, so if I bought out, for example, let's take Evoke, for example. So I bought out Evoke, right, and every magic shop sells it at the same price, because they have to. If they don't, it's cheating. If one magic shop takes this trick and sells it ridiculously cheaply right from the very first second it first comes out, it's not fair on all the other magic shops, right? So that they have to charge at a particular price. I think that you have to advertise it at that same price. So Evoke, I think, is £30. So I'd have to say it's £30 or whatever the equivalent is in the country I'm lecturing. But you could have a convention special. You know, it could be, well, this is meant to be £30, but you've got £10 off, it's only 20, or this is £30, but if you buy 2 products, you'll get a third one free, or something like that. I think it's fine to give discounts. I think it's fine to reduce things. I think it's fine to have convention and lecture specials, absolutely 100%. But I think you need to point out what the price actually is, and that you're giving them a discount, not that that's the price that you're charging all the time. I think, if that makes sense. Okay, so the next question is from Dylan1213, who says, hi, Craig. Thanks so much for answering my question about coins across. Also, I want to say thank you for showing an interest in giving me feedback for my new trick. I sent it to you via Facebook Messenger, and I hope you'll be able to take a look at it when you get a chance. I'm on holiday for a week. After doing this next 2 days worth of gigs, I'm on a holiday, so I will definitely have a chance to look at it. Hopefully, I'll be able to get back to you about this next Sunday. I'm new to creating magic, and you have helped inspire me to get more creative. Amazing. Lastly, I want to say that Magic TV is my favourite magic YouTube channel, and I believe that you've given out more advice to the magic community than any other magician on this platform. You're doing a wonderful job, and it's truly helped me a lot on my magic journey. Keep the great work alive. All the best, Dylan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Like I've said a million times, this channel is very, 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 very hard work. I got back from Hunstanton, where Ryan was doing 2 shows at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've had to wake up at 8:30 this morning to film this Q&A, because if I don't do it, it ain't going to get done, because from here, I'm going straight to a gig, then another gig, then another gig, then I'm going on holiday. So it's a lot of hard work, it really is, but it's people like you that truly appreciate it, that makes it all worthwhile. So, Dylan, thank you very much. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician again, who says, what's your favourite version of the 6-card repeat and where's the best place to learn it? My favourite version of the 6-card repeat is, there's two different versions. The first version is Wayne Dobson's handling that he performed in the Royal Variety Show as an opener before going into his Sponge Ball act. I love how he does it in such a quick fire way. I love how he presented it, and it's just a great trick. You can watch the performance of it by going on YouTube and typing in Wayne Dobson Royal Variety performance. But he teaches it in a few different places. I think that his new books, from Vanishing Ink, Legacy, which are amazing, by the way, and if you haven't already got those, you should pick them up. It's in there, so you could go into there. I believe it's in there. If not, contact Netrix and they'll tell you which project it's on. But that's the first one that I really love. The second is Bill Abbott's handling of the repeat, and I love the presentation that Bill uses with it, where he says, hey, I was 10 years old. It's just an amazing presentation, and I love the fact that he does it with jumbo cards and he does it with a box, and the box is actually part of the trick because it vanishes the cards. It also changes. You have to watch it to understand, but it is an amazing, an absolutely amazing version of the 6-card repeat. And if you want a really commercial version that'll play big because of the props that are involved, go and check out Bill Abbott's website. Bill Abbott, just type in Bill Abbott Magic Shop on Google and it'll come up, and you can see it all on there, including a live full performance. So those are my two favourite versions. Yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, so the next question is from Archie Cox Magic. Hey, Archie, hope you're well. Archie says, hi, Craig, hope you're well. Yes, I am, thank you, buddy. I just got back from my holiday in Spain. Hope you had a good holiday. I'm catching up with all your videos from the week that really motivated me to get back into the swing of magic after being away from it for a week. Right, question. Here we go. I'd really like to start doing some more gigs for experience. I've done a few care homes in my area, but most of them, there's been someone I know, like a family member, who works there, and therefore it gives the staff a biased opinion on me. And most of the time I'm treated as a relative of the worker doing magic rather than a magician. I'd like to do things where people don't know me, but don't quite feel ready to start doing paid gigs. Where are the best places to start, and how do I approach these places? Well, you've got, first of all, if you want to practice at care homes, and that's a great place to practice, especially stage magic, then you've got an in. You can speak to, or you can get your relative to speak to people in that care home. They're going to be connected to other care homes and say to them, you know, I've done a good job here. Could you please recommend me over to, you know, other care homes that could have me come in as well? And then go and do those. You know, the family member won't be there, but you're getting that connection, you know, and this is a very basic version of networking. When you're doing business, when you're in business and you're running your magic business as a business, networking is a really important part of that, getting referrals. So that's what we're doing here. We're using a established connection to get referrals into other care homes. So that's a good way to do it. So that's the first thing that I would suggest. Second thing that I would suggest is go to a restaurant. You know, if you're wanting flight time more than anything else, and it's not really about doing paid gigs, go to a restaurant and just tell them, be honest with them. Excuse me. Say, look, I'm not doing paid gigs at the moment, but I've been doing magic a long time. I really care about magic, and I want a place to perform. You know, normally it costs quite a lot of money to have a restaurant magician. I'd like to come in and I'd like to perform for your guests, and I'll come in on a trial night just so you can see that I'm actually really good at what I do. And if you contact enough restaurants and tell you that you're going to do it for free, excuse me, there's going to be a bunch of people that will turn around and say yes. So that's a great way to do it. You know, you can do that. The other thing you can do is go to open mic nights and go to an open mic night and just say, hey, I've got a 10-minute spot. I'd like to perform this 10-minute spot. It's scary doing an open mic night. It is very, very scary, but you know, it's a great place to get flight time. And what you're talking about here is getting flight time. And I've said this over and over again on this channel. There is no substitute to flight time. You know, Ryland, I know that you came and you watched him on his tour, and he's, you know, Killian's amazing, Ryland's amazing. I can speak about Ryland more confidently because obviously he's my son. all my focus has ever been on with Ryland is giving him flight time. I don't care about him going and doing TV shows and really fancy gigs and whatever. And that's nice when it comes up, and it does come up quite often. But that's not for the thing. The thing for me is flight time. I want Ryland to go out and perform as much as he can, because the more you perform, the better you get. It's just as simple as that. The more you perform, the more comfortable you are with performing, the better you get. So I'm always trying to push people, push Ryland out to go and perform more in as many different places as I can. Go out and reach out to people, and just go out and put yourself out there. Go out and put yourself out there. Go and find as many places as possible. Contact a local magician. Contact a local magician and say, hey, I want to become a paid magician. I'm not at the moment. Can I shadow you? And then maybe with a view to doing, like helping you at a gig. Go and do kid shows. Go and do kid shows, and go and contact a kids entertainer and say, hey, I'd like to shadow you with a view to maybe doing a trick at the end of your show, in the middle of your show. Go out and just get as much flight time as you can. Okay, so the next question again from Archie Cox Magic, who is question 2. I'm doing an unpaid gig at the end of the month where everybody knows me, and I wondered if you had any advice on my sets. I'm doing walk around, in which I'll take a normal deck of cards, and I'm also taking Imagine, I'm taking Zoltar's Opener, Toxic, and Mind Blocks. I'll alternate between 2 sets. The first being Zoltar's Opener, Imagine, and Toxic. And the second set will be Imagine, and then the main routine from Mind Blocks. I'll also be doing a 10-minute set in front of everybody. I plan on starting with the finger mind reading effect that Nemid does, then doing I'm Still Leaping from the Netrix, and closing with a celebrity prediction using a baby gag for an envelope which was given out from the start. What are your thoughts? Okay, so the first set, Zoltar's Opener, Imagine, and Toxic. They're 3 good tricks. They're 3 good tricks. My question to you is, how are you going to transition from Zoltar's Opener to Imagine? I personally don't like to put one deck away and bring another deck out. That's what you're kind of doing there, aren't you? Because you're doing Zoltar's Opener, you've just shown that the only card in the deck that's a different colour is their card, and then you're going and saying, well, actually, now you could get away with it by saying, well, let me, put this deck away and take out this other deck because this is a special deck. There's no ink on it. But I just think that it's probably what I would rather do. What I would rather do is, okay, so here's how I would do it if I was doing that. I would put Zoltar's Opener, and I would put Imagine in matching boxes, right? And I put Imagine in my jacket pocket, and I bring out Zoltar's Opener. I'd do Zoltar's Opener. I'd then say, hey, I'd put the cards away in the box, and I'd then say, hey, would you guys like, who here would like a chance to do some magic themselves? You would, okay. Let me grab you a little invisible magic wand. Let me grab a magic wand. You then put your hands into your pockets. You go and bring out as if you're searching for this magic wand. You can't find it. You come out like this, and you've switched the deck, but they don't realize this. And you kind of go, hold on to that for me for a minute, and you look in your other pockets, and eventually you bring out a Sharpie, and you say, well, I haven't got a magic wand, but I have got this Sharpie. It's black and white, that'll do. Okay, we're going to try and do some magic right now. We're going to do something amazing. We'll take the deck of cards, and you remember earlier on, 1 card and 1 card only was a different color. We'll see if we can wipe all the colors off the cards. Watch, can you just wave the Sharpie and say a magic word? Oh, that's what I like, a man with originality. Let's have a look. And then you take the card box back off them, and that time misdirection, they'll completely forget that your hands went into your pockets as long as you play it correct. As long as you kind of play that switch as, an unimportant moment, that'll completely go off past them. You then open up the box and you bring out the deck, and the deck has now turned blank. And I'd start off with the deck blank, right? Because then there's no reason, because normally I know Imagine starts with the deck of cards that are printed, but the problem with that is, why are you putting that deck away to bring out the printed deck? It makes no sense. But this makes more sense. So now you've made these cards turn blank, and you say, well, I'll tell you what, we'll see if we can make them print again. Okay, take that Sharpie, tap here, and then when they cut, they've printed that card But the problem is, it's now a different back design, and you can react to that. And you say, okay, no, we need the normal back design. And say, oh, try again, tap. And now when you go through them, every single back has changed. And it's like they've kind of messed up the magic, and now all of the backs have changed, which allows you to then go into the mind reading piece with Imagine. And then at the end, you can have them tap it one more time, and it turns back to blank, and you can put the cards away. I think that would work really well. The second set, which was Imagine, and then the main routine from Mind Blocks. Again, I think you need to have a reason to switch the decks. I think that bringing one deck out and then bringing another deck out is not going to be too good there. I would, unless I mean, Mind Blocks is not a deck. Technically, it's a collection of Lego cards, so you don't have as much of a problem there. But I still don't think you should put one deck away and bring the other deck out. So what I would do with this is I would put the Mind Blocks deck inside an envelope. And I would bring out the envelope and I'd say, hey, I'm going to show you something amazing in a minute. I've got a prediction here, like a jiffy bag or something, or a box. I don't really care, but put it somewhere so they can't see what's inside it. I've got a prediction here. Can you do me a favor? Can you hold on to that prediction? Don't look inside just yet. I'm trusting you. Before we get to that prediction, I want to show you a card trick. Then you do Imagine, and you can do it the normal way because it's the first thing that they're seeing. Then you put the deck away and you say, right, I gave you a box at the very beginning. We're going to see if that prediction matches. And do digital force back. That would be a great way to do this. Say, I've got 100 of my favorite things. I've got a list of 100 of my favorite things. Please, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a number from 1 to 100? 36. Brilliant. Okay. Boom. You can see there's this. But what's at 36? Lego. I love Lego. If I told you I knew that you'd pick Lego from the very beginning, would that be good? Yeah. Well, I gave you a prediction. Open it up. Look at this. It's a Lego deck. It's a deck of cards that I actually got from Legoland, and it's got different Lego sets on them. Now, that's pretty cool that I was able to know that you would think of Lego, but let's take this to the next level. I'm going to go one step further. And now you're going into Mind Blocks. So that's what I do with that. And then the card routine is great. The finger thing that Nema does is brilliant. Still Leaping for the Netrix is awesome. And a celebrity prediction using a baby gag for an envelope, which was given out from the start. That's perfect. So that's my opinion on that those sets. Take it or leave it. But yeah, man, most important thing is go and have fun at the gig. Okay, so we've got one final question from Archie Cox, which is, I enjoy effects about films. What are your favourite effects involving films? Well, I've got a trick called Trivia, which is, it came out a couple of years ago with Alakazam. I love that. It's like trivia cards, movie trivia cards with like facts about different movies, and you can have somebody randomly pick a card, randomly pick a word on the card, and you can tell them the word they're thinking about, you can tell them the film they're thinking about. There's a bunch of information on there, so that's really cool. Also, if you've got my Mirage deck project, I very much like on there, there's a routine where I have somebody think of a film, and they can think of any film, apparently, and you can show that right from the very beginning you predicted the film that they would name. That's such a strong trick. I love performing that routine. Outside of my tricks, Cinemental is amazing. Cinemental is really, really cool, by Nicholas Mavresis. It came out a few years ago, so it's flown under a lot of radars. People don't know about it, but Cinemental is really good. Screen Test is really good, which was also brought out by Alakazam. That's a great trick. I also like Fright Night, and that is... Andy Nyman brought out a trick called Killer Elite, which he marketed through Alakazam, which was a story-based kind of prediction routine based around famous serial killers from films, and that's awesome. I've done that loads of times. But then off the back of that, Alakazam brought out Fright Night, which was the same sort of thing, but with iconic characters from films, horror films. And I love performing that as well. Talking about horror films, my trick Monsters that I brought out last year from Alakazam, that's a really great trick. Love performing that. Really do love performing that. So that's that. Monsters is really good. There is another version of Monsters coming out next year, which is all about films. So look out for that. That's going to be killer. And here are a scoop for you. I've got a trick coming out through Murphy's next year. It's actually in the Murphy's warehouse at the moment, so they're hassling me to get the tutorial done. I need to get that sorted, actually. I need to contact Nemid. Anyway, it's all about films, and it's a project that was designed by Phil Smith. That's all I'm going to tell you. But if you like films and you like the sort of stuff that me and Phil Smith do together, this is incredible. So that's coming out through Murphy's. I don't know when. Very, very soon. I just need to film the tutorial. And this isn't films per se, but it does have a link to films. Look out for the Heroes and Villains deck from Penguin Magic as well, which I filmed the tutorial for when I was over at Penguin earlier on this month. So those are pretty much all my favourite film tricks. But let me know, what do you think? What's your favourite trick with a film? Okay, so the next question is from guest 3997, who says, Dear Craig, it was great seeing you at Magic Live. Rhonda enjoyed seeing you in the coffee shop. Hope you enjoyed the vanilla lattes. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Your friend David and Rhonda Goldman. David and Rhonda, I love those guys so much. David and Rhonda are brilliant. And David, every day of Magic Live, just when I was about to die on the booth, bought me a vanilla latte, which is my favourite coffee. And I thank you for that so much, my friend. I really do. It was great seeing you. And hopefully I'll see you at Blackpool, and Rhonda will be well enough to make the trip as well. But yeah, stay safe. Okay, so the next question is from Spooky Kid, who says, I own Pi Revelations by David Penn. I don't have an iPhone. A lot of people said I could use an iCalc download and it would work, but it shows the inputs in small numbers under the large number. You can see a force number and the equation. A scientific calculator was recommended, but it doesn't look normal and seems to me it loses the organic nature of the trick. Is there someone who can help me with this issue? I love the main routine. How can I do it without an iPhone? I don't do Pi Revelations. I haven't done it for a long while, but I do remember it involves the calculator. The best person to speak to is David Penn, because he's an expert when it comes to tech magic, and he's probably thought this problem through and already has a solution in his head, because this is a product that he sells and he really stands by all of his tricks. The only thing I could suggest is take it offline, and what I mean by that is don't use an iPhone calculator, but use an add a number pad instead. I can't remember the effect well enough to know if an add a number pad will work, but if it does, that would be a viable option. Something like the executive pad would probably work really well. But I would start by sending a message to David Penn and seeing if he's got a workaround. Okay, so the next question is from Orc Mason, who says, Hi Craig, I've been asked by a family member to do magic at their wedding for their guests. I'm not a professional, I'm an amateur who actually hasn't performed at all in close to 10 years. Do you have any advice? I don't want to let them down. They've asked you to do magic at their wedding, man. They obviously think you're good enough, and they know that you're not a professional and you're an amateur. Just have fun with it. Just, if you've not done a gig in 10 years, don't overload your pockets with stuff. It will just confuse you. Pick 5 or 6 routines that you're comfortable doing. 1,000 timers, stuff that you're not... This is not the time to do brand new, untested material. This is not the time to do stuff that you've never done before. Take your 1,000 timers, the stuff that you know works. Just take 5 or 6 of those and just go around and do it. Now, here's the thing. Because they're inviting you to the guest as well, and you're not really there as a paid performer, there's no pressure on you. So if you get there and you're feeling a bit nervous and you want to hold off 15 minutes before you start, do that. Perform when you feel like you want to, not like, okay, I've got to do from here till here. This is the time they want the magic. And point that out to them, saying, look, I'm not a pro. I'm an amateur. I will go and do the best job that I can. But, and I'll perform throughout the day at various different points. But, it's really important for you to understand I'm not a pro, but I will do the best job for you that I possibly can. And then once they understand that, just go and have fun with it, man. Just go out and have fun. Take your favourite tricks. Go and perform your favourite tricks to people and show off. That's what magic's all about, right? It's about having fun, connecting with people, and I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. I think it'll be a bit like a drug. When you start doing it, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, so the next question is from Caleb D'Amico, who says, Hi, Craig, Mr. Craig Petty, thank you for all you do. You're truly an inspiration to me to be the best magician. I can be. I am 16 years old. I had my first small gig at the end of the summer event at a Chick-fil-A. Love Chick-fil-A. Which I also work at part-time. I would not have been at that gig if it was not for all your hard work. You're a constant motivation to always work hard and be honest in all that you do. Thank you so much. You're truly helping magicians with all your generosity of your time. Thank you so much, Caleb. Genuinely, that means the world to me. Every time I hear a story of somebody that's doing their first gig because of something they saw on Magic TV, entering their first competition, doing this, doing that, that is what this channel is all about. And as long as I keep hearing stories like that, I'm going to continue to do this channel. So Caleb, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed the gig, and it's going to be the first of many, many more. Okay, next question is from Magic Elliot. How are you, buddy? I hope you are well. Magic Elliot says, I've just bought something nice. I just bought some nice heavy duty medallion style coins with yes on one side and no on the other. It appears they're quite popular at the moment. Any good ideas or sources for uses with them? I also bought some. I think they're great. And I'm actually doing like a video. I'm going to be doing a 5x5 soon on 5 uses for these coins. So look out for that. That's coming probably in September. They could be used for the trick that Alexander Marsh brought out through the 1914. That came with some yes and no coins that aren't quite as good as these, so you might want to consider using those for that if you like that trick. But I've got some really cool, funky ideas for them, and I will be putting them on video soon. So look out for that. It'll be on a 5x5. Okay, so the next question, again from Magic Elliot, is, second question, what items are you carrying around nowadays to perform impromptu? Any updates to your EDC? Yes, my EDC has had a massive overhaul, and I'm going to talk to you about that on a very future video. In September, I plan on doing a video, and it's going to be something like Craig's updated EDC, and it's going to be what I'm carrying around with me at the moment, the tricks that I'm doing, and the stuff that are part of my everyday carry at the moment. So that's coming out in September, so look out for that. I'm not going to go through it now because then what's the point in making the video? But I'm telling you, it seems like you have this uncanny ability at the moment to suggest videos that I'm already making, which means we're on the same wavelength, which is good. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician, who says, you made a video on reading non-positive comments, and that video someone said you are a biased reviewer because you always give your friends good reviews. Well, I know from personal experience and confirm it's not true at all, because I asked Craig or Rylan their opinion on ID Kicker by David Penn, and they both said it's bad, even though Craig said Craig is very good friends with David, meaning whoever left that comment is completely wrong. Yeah, I am completely honest, and I don't want to get in trouble with David Penn. Let me explain. You are 100% right. I said that it was not good for you. The thing with Invisible Deck Kicker, which is what we're talking about here, is it is a full deck of cards that you've got to carry around with you as a kicker to another gimmick deck that you've got to carry around with you. So you've got to carry around Invisible Deck, and you've got to carry around the deck that you need in order to do the kicker. And the kicker itself is a really nice kicker. It really is. And the way you see David perform it, and you see it doing it in the live performances, and you're like, yeah, that's super smart, because it is. But I don't think having... I tried it at gigs for a little while, and for me, the problem with it is it's not worth carrying 2 decks of cards around to get an extra kicker to a trick that's already got a good enough finale. So the Invisible Deck is amazing. This maybe adds something else to it as well. It does add an extra moment, but I don't think it's as good a moment in order to justify carrying around 2 full decks of cards for one trick on top of the deck of cards you're going to have to carry around with you anyway. I would rather, for example, carry an Invisible Deck and carry Evoke or the Mind Blocks deck, or even his thing where they name a card and you cut to it and it's there, whatever that trick is, that's really good. There's other stuff that you can, when you're talking about a pro, and obviously, Divishan, you're a pro, when you're talking about a pro, one of the most important things is that pocket space is a real issue. And because it's a real issue, this is not the trick for you, honestly. That's what I kind of meant there. But yeah, you are right, 100%, that I'm not biased. Never have been, never will be. But, that I'm glad that you recognise that. Thank you so much, my friend. Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, who says, in a coin routine with Gaffed coins, what's a good way to switch the Gaffed coin in and out so the coins are examinable at the beginning, but even more importantly, at the end? How I like to have coins examined at the beginning. Let's say we're using 3 coins and one of them needs to be gaffed. What I will do is I'll have the 3 coins loose in my right-hand pocket. I'll have the gaffed coin loose in my left-hand pocket. I say, hey, I want to show you a coin trick. Both hands go into the pockets. This hand comes out displaying a coin. This hand finger palms the gaffed coin. You hand it out for examination. You then take it back and you shuttle pass it for the gaffed coin. You then reach in and pull out the same coin and you say, examine that one, bonk, and you examine the third one, bonk. So you've now had 3 coins examined, but you've got that gaffed coin rung in. That's my favourite way to have coins examined at the beginning when they typically can't be examined, if that kind of makes sense. In terms of switching it out at the end, there's a few different options in terms of how to switch it out at the end. What I typically would like is to introduce that extra coin secretly. So I like to routine tricks. So there's a moment where I have to go into my pocket logically. It could be, and if you look at my routine sponge, which is on the Netrix and it's also on the Alakazam Academy, Volume 1, Coin Magic Academy. If you look at my routine sponge, you'll see on sponge what I'm talking about. I routine tricks so that I'm going into my pocket to pick something up or to get a prop during the course of the routine, and I'm bringing that ungaffed coin into play at that point. So at the end, I can have everything examined. The other way that I like to do it, and if you look at Level Up, you'll see this as an example, is I routine everything. So at the end, everything is in the spectator's hand and the focus is there. So I can just finger palm, I can take a step back, and on the offbeat, I can finger palm the gaffed coin. And as they open their hand and whatever has happened, I pick up the coins, do utility switch, and now handing them over to the person over there, they're all examinable. And then I take the purse or whatever and put it away in my pocket, ditching the gaffed coin. Hopefully that helped. It's a bit hard to go through this when you don't know what gaffed coin you've got in mind and you don't know the routine you've got in mind. If you've got a particular gaff, or you've got a particular routine that you want me to talk about, I can do that next week. Just ask me down below, but that's what I'd suggest. Okay, so the next question again is from Adrian Suter. It says, hi Craig, hope you and your family are well in spite of the recent lows in toxicity in the Magic community. I'm good, man. Thanks very much. I wanted to tell you that one answer in the Q&A about 2 months ago helped me a lot in clarifying my performance character, a collector of strange and interesting stuff. Seems to be the perfect character for me. I'm now trying to build a repertoire which suits this character. You recommended Chroma by Mark Lehman, which is great. I also think Keymaster is excellent because key blanks are strange and interesting. The Akito box, the Penrose Pendant, Evoke, Infinity Deck, or another picture deck, Magic Button, Haunted Key. All of these will work really well. If you have any other suggestions for strange and interesting stuff, please share them. But as I said, you already helped a lot. Oh, that's great, man. I love that character. That's a really, really interesting character. I think that would work really well. I can't wait to see how that develops over the coming weeks and months and years. In terms of suggestions for strange and interesting stuff, that's something that I'd probably have to put my thinking cap on. Potentially thimbles. I mean, I know thimble manipulation is a very old hat, but it's still strong. Thimble manipulation is still strong. You wouldn't even have to use gimmick thimbles. You know, you can just use sleight of hand with normal thimbles. But if you had a couple of normal thimbles that you bought out and you did a quick thimble routine, like the one from Carnicopia by John Carney or something, I think thimbles would fit into the strange and unusual, interesting stuff. I also think maybe if you got yourself some UV thread and did like a gypsy thread routine with UV thread, but you pointed out that it was UV, and that might work. Totally up to you. And I'll tell you something, if you got yourself like an old-fashioned needle, not just like a sewing needle, but an old-fashioned needle, that has a very intricate, you can get those ones with like really intricate designs built into them, and you did Single Needle by Wayne Houchin. I think that would look really good, especially with the thread. You could combine the two. Yeah, that would be good. Those are the ones that spring instantly to mind. There's probably more that I can't think of right now, but they're the ones that spring instantly to mind. So yeah, hopefully that helps. But I'll put my thinking cap on and try and think of some more for you. Okay, so the next question is from Warren Treadaway, who says, "Hey Craig, great show as always. Whilst I remember, I have to say what a great co-host you were on the new Sticks release by Eric Stevens. Thank you. You asked all the right questions and knew when to be quiet. People don't realise how important a co-host job is." Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Really do. I love being a co-host, and that means a lot. I have a couple of questions for you. Some times ago, you mentioned Matt's Muggle to Magician series, and you were considering doing a project with Matt joining the Magic Circle. Is this still going to happen? Having just passed my Magic Circle audition, I think other magicians would find this useful. Also, whilst I know the wallet you plan to release isn't for a while, if it includes a card to wallet feature, will this feature be a non-slide method for making it more practical? Yes, it will. It will have 3 different ways of doing card to wallet. I'm nowhere near bringing this out. I'm probably still about 18 months away. But yes, it's definitely going to have 3 different ways of doing card to wallet. And in terms of Matt, the 3rd season of the Matchmentary is going to be underway probably just before the end of the year, maybe October. And it's going to be tied into the Magic Circle. It's also going to be tied into the Blackpool Magicians Club. I've got 2 things that I want to have him doing by the end of the 3rd season of the Matchmentary. So I'm just putting all that together with Michael, and kind of getting Matt's input as well. And it's a busy time of the year at the moment for Matt and for us at the office. But we definitely will be putting that together and launching it soon, probably after the Ryland stuff is finished. Okay, so the next question is from Junio, who says, "Hey, I'm getting involved in an association that does room-to-room tours of kids' hospitals." That's brilliant. No physical contact, no fire, nothing in the mouth. Kids from 3 to 16, generally bed-bound. If you could do a top effect you would bring with you, what would those be? Thanks. Okay, no physical contact, no fire, nothing in the mouth. Kids mixed ages. So you'd want to have something that would work for younger kids and for older kids. So you want to have something that would literally work across the board. No physical contact, no fire, nothing in the mouth. So you'd really want to kind of move away from card tricks, because card tricks are going to involve having somebody pick a card and put it back, and that kind of breaks the no physical contact thing. I would start by looking into coin magic. There's a lot of coin magic that you can perform at somebody that's super visual, so younger kids would really like it, whilst older kids would appreciate how bloody amazing it looks. 3-fly, a lot of the stuff with Nightshade, with the copper silver taking place up here, that sort of stuff would work really well. So I'd say a lot of coin magic or coin magic substitute. So for example, a lot of the stuff from Level Up would work. And the thing with Level Up is obviously it's very practical. Kids know what Nintendo Switch cartridges are. So something like Level Up would work. But coin magic in general would work really well. If you can take a little table around with you, I don't know what you can take. I don't know if you're working from your pockets or not. But if you could take a little table that you can literally just plonk on and almost do it like a one-on-one performance, I would say something like Chop Cup would work really well as well. I think Chop Cup would work great. I don't think you'd want to take a cups and balls, because that would take a bigger table and a lot of space. But a little table with Chop Cup, I think that would work great. A lot of a lot of rope magic would work really well as well. The Dave Williamson ring and rope routine, or Hyper Ring by Richard Sanders, Fiber Optics by Richard Sanders, Acrobatic Knot by Daryl. Any of those routines would work really, really well. And then stuff that they can relate to, that they can look at but not actually have to physically be a part of. So for example, that routine by Craig Wilson, where the pen nib changes places over and over again. I can't remember what it's called. But that would work really well. That sort of thing. And then maybe Tech Magic. I don't know if they're going to have their phone there. Or you can use your phone, like Toxic Plus would be awesome, and they can take their phone if they've got a phone and follow along with you, or Tech Magic. Any sort of Tech Magic would work great for kids, especially for that older age range of kids. There's a million different routines that you can do with Tech Magic that doesn't necessarily require you having to do any physical contact. So a lot of tech magic would work well. And then other routines that you could perform at somebody that are visually impressive. An egg bag would work really well. Silk to egg would work really well. Elastic band magic would work really well. Realistically, it's just stuff that you can perform at somebody, but at the same time making it interactive without having that physical contact. So first of all, congratulations, dude, on putting yourself forward for this. That's amazing. Very, very rewarding, I'm sure. Hopefully that helps, but if you've got any other questions, please let me know. Okay, Peak Booth Magic has come on and said, hey Craig, just posting a reminder about the RSVP online question you asked me to put in this week's comments. Thanks. I have not been able to get hold of Russ at all. And I think it's a combination of the fact that he's really busy, I'm really busy, but I've not been able to get hold of him. I've looked at RSVP and I've looked at the site. It doesn't look like it's been updated for a while. But I do know that he's got a massive back catalogue that is not even used yet. So I don't know if he's got himself into a situation, because Russ doesn't have like a big company around him. It's not like he's got multiple members of staff that can do this. That's not the case at all. So I think that, I'm thinking that possibly he's maybe been a bit busy. I know he's up to his eyeballs with it in Britain's Got Talent at the moment. He's obviously got the Blackpool Magic Convention. He's been in Italy. He's been consulting on a bunch of different stuff, obviously. He was the guy that put together Ryan and Killian's tour, the Killian World of Magic tour. So he's been very, 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 very busy. I don't know if that's impacted on stuff. I know he's got a lot of other stuff that he can share on the platform, but I don't think at the moment it's been updated for a few months. So there you go, guys. That is another Q&A in the bag. Thanks once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. I really appreciate it. Once again, your support means the world to me. And don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. And if you haven't already done so, please join the Netrix. People ask me all the time, how can you support me? The best and easiest way to support me, if you like the content, is by going to the Netrix and trying it out and seeing what you think. It's www.thenetrix.com. Ever since we launched, we've added 5 new tricks every 2 weeks, and we're not planning on stopping anytime soon. So if you want to become a member of the Netrix, I would love to have you. You can go and check it out at thenetrix.com. Outside of that, thank you once again for joining me. We've got a review show special going up tonight at 9 o'clock. There's a Magic Live going up tonight at 6 o'clock. So make sure you look at both of those, and I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.